Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, what began as a hopeful gathering of Africa's brightest political minds quickly descended into diplomatic turbulence as a fiery confrontation between South African political heavyweight Helen Zille and Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader Captain Ibrahim Traoré stole the spotlight at the Pan-African Leadership Summit. The highly publicized clash, caught on camera and now circulating widely online, has sparked a firestorm of debate, revealing the deep ideological fault lines running beneath the surface of the continent's efforts toward unity. The summit, attended by more than 30 heads of state, diplomats, and political strategists, was convened to discuss a renewed framework for African integration, self-reliance, and decolonization. Key topics included regional security, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and political cooperation. But what was meant to unify the continent turned unexpectedly contentious when a panel discussion on governance and the future of democracy in Africa spiraled into a personal and ideological showdown. Helen Zille, a senior member of South Africa's Democratic Alliance and known critic of what she calls authoritarian populism, delivered a speech that criticized certain African leaders for backsliding on democratic principles and stifling freedom in the name of sovereignty. Although she didn't mention names, it was widely understood that her remarks were directed at leaders like Traoré, who came to power through military-led uprisings and who now champion Pan-African independence from Western influence. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, never one to shy away from confrontation, responded in no uncertain terms. Taking the microphone with fierce conviction, he launched a blistering critique that many in the room interpreted as a direct rebuke of Zille's stance and of the ideological legacy she represents. "We are not here to be lectured by those who defend systems that once chained us," Traoré declared. "You speak of democracy, but your silence during apartheid rings louder than your words now. Africa must define democracy for itself, not copy and paste it from Europe." He continued with growing intensity, accusing Western-leaning African elites of undermining the continent's fight for real independence. "We are fighting for a continent that controls its resources, its voice, and its destiny. If that makes us undemocratic in your eyes, so be it. We will no longer accept judgments from those who see Africa through colonial lenses." The entire hall went silent. Some leaders appeared shocked, others nodded in agreement. Zille, unflinching, responded by reaffirming her stance, stating, "We cannot ignore the erosion of civil liberties and call it liberation. True freedom includes accountability, transparency, and the rule of law. We owe it to the African people to speak truth, even if it's uncomfortable." That exchange marked a pivotal moment. What was supposed to be a collaborative policy dialogue had now turned into an ideological battleground. Delegates from different nations began to split in their sympathies. West African leaders, particularly from Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea, expressed support for Traoré's bold defense of sovereignty. Meanwhile, others aligned more cautiously with Zille's emphasis on democratic norms. Political analysts believe this confrontation reflects deeper tensions within the Pan-African Alliance. On one side are leaders like Traoré, who are pushing for a complete break from Western influence, advocating for African-led systems that reflect indigenous values, histories, and power dynamics. On the other side are liberal reformers like Zille, who believe African democracy must still adhere to international norms and institutions to avoid becoming autocratic. This was not just a clash of personalities. It was a clash of visions for Africa's future. One rooted in self-determination through revolution, the other in institutional liberalism. The danger is that if these camps grow further apart, we risk seeing fractures within the Pan-African movement itself. In the days following the summit, social media exploded with hashtags like #ZilleFstray, #AfricanFuture, and #DecolonizeAfrica. The footage of the exchange has been viewed millions of times, drawing both praise and criticism from political circles across Africa and the diaspora. While the summit concluded with a joint resolution emphasizing continental unity and cooperation, it was clear that the ideological battle ignited by Zille and Traoré had not been resolved, only postponed. As Africa strides forward, the fundamental question remains: what kind of future should the continent build, and who gets to define it?